All right, we got a quick power naps in. After that one, Joshi and I are ready to go for the final game of the day after a 50-minute banger between FlyQuest and AOE. Well, we got Rafa back now to bring it down. Rafa, you know, how did you enjoy the show?
Well, I don't know how you guys got a power nap in. I would feel super pumped after the way the game ended, out of all things. But definitely a back and forth. Felt like the game should have been decided, you know, maybe 20-ish minutes ago, 15 minutes before. But, you know, props to AOE Gold for their persistence and holding on.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the fact that AOE were able to turn that around and kind of find the game plan, again, I want to initially credit that with Winnie until we know otherwise, that he's going to be one of the players that is really driving a lot of the communication for his team and finding them the game plan. And he's also a player that, from what I've heard, is oftentimes like, no, we got this. This game's winnable. Let's go ahead and try it and go again. Here's what we're going to do next time. And just keeping people forward thinking is such a big part in these long games.
It's an important part to note right there. I'm happy that obviously not only was it an entertaining game, but we got to see players step up and go into leadership positions in a really satisfying way. I mean, honestly, from both sides.
Yeah.
Throughout the game. And important to note, because Rafa did clarify something to us, Masu's playing on a lot of ping right now.
Like
so
120.
Yeah.
Not in LA.
Not in LA.
Yeah.
On the Sivir in the team fights, oftentimes it was like either him or Spyrex was getting caught, and it's tough when you're playing in these certain environments and circumstances, but that's just the name of the game right now for the player. So honestly, props for still sticking in for that long.
Yeah, I mean, the way that we were watching the interaction between the two marksmen, Lynx was 100% getting the better of it. And while ping counts for some of that, it's definitely just Lynx just understanding his positioning so well throughout the team, recognizing who he needs to hit. And you notice that he was typically going for Masu most of the time as opposed to Spyrex, because you can outrange the Sivir as the Zeri. It's a lot harder to outrange the Azir in the fights, and it really allowed Lynx to shine.
Yeah. But with that said, it is time for, of course, our halftime show while we get ready for the last games. The players are getting ready for pick and ban. Rafa, as our guest for the day, what do you have planned for us? Because so far we've had nothing but fun times planned with Rafa.
Well, and the train for fun does not stop here, or at least I hope so. If this segment is not fun, then
we'll only have one more game today.
Yeah, it's the last one.
You're only putting up with me for one more game anyway. So now this game is called Sound Check. It might be similar to one, if this is what we called it before, in the summer split last year, but basically, or just last year overall, I'm going to take clips from the game, and you're going to have to see if you can guess what part of the game it is from. It's only audible. You're not getting a visual at all. I'm going to start with just 1 second of it. If you can get it, great. If you can't, then I will extend it to 3 seconds. If you still can't get it there, I'm going to give you a full 10 seconds. If you still can't decipher it, then, there's no punishment, but yeah, you suck. Yeah.
Question.
Skill issue. What's up?
Is this a competition between myself and Joshi?
We can make it. We can make it a competition.
All right, we gotta buzz in then. We gotta have like an audible buzz if we want to hop in and make
buzz.
Buzz,
like a Pokemon.
Okay.
All right, take it away, Rafa.
All right, so let me pull up my clips. What do we have for the first one? Okay, first
she's going into his mind palace. Wow.
Okay, all right. Tell me if you hear this.
Watching Masu, you have one spell. Okay, I heard that. Yes, that was my voice.
Watching Masu, you have one.
Was this?
I think
the fight.
Oh, Buzz!
Oh, Buzz! Ah! I think you got it.
Yoshi.
I think this is the fight near the bottom lane inner turret, but just around the bottom where we saw right before Darkwings is about to go in. Right, like he goes for the stun on the minion and then jumps on them.
No. Dang. No. That's... Genghis, do you have a chance to respond in, or do you want more time?
I thought that it was it's also bot lane, but the fight at the inhibitor when they get onto Masu, right before they get onto Masu, but then Spyrex is able to clean up the fight on the Azir.
Nope, that's not it.
Okay.
You guys are looking
All right.
very far ahead in the game already, so we got to pull back the clock. Here, I'm gonna give it again. This time 3 seconds.
Launching Masu, you have 1 spell shield. You got a Lulu next to you. That is very hard.
I know that doesn't give much more information potentially, but listen to how calm you are and the sound of your voice. What point in the game this could be.
Dude, that was 50 minutes
Buzz. Buzz. Was this the first Rift Herald? I believe that there was like a fight happening up around the Herald, and I remember saying something about how hard it was going to be to get onto onto Masu.
Cool. Oh, it's fun. No.
Okay, Joshi.
Joshi, do you have a...
We're going to guess that it was about a minute before the Rift Herald where Winnie is potentially looking for a gank.
No.
No.
All right, we're okay.
We suck at this game.
It was 50 minutes ago, man. I don't feel that bad.
That's a long time ago.
All right. Let's play out the full clip.
Launching Masu, you have 1 spell shield. You got a Lulu next to you. That is very hard for the enemy to get on top, but not impossible, as they're now on to the dragon. Yuji's got to go forward. Can he get the steal? It is secured by Winnie. Now Link's doing a lot of damage. Masu is not protected and does go down, but
It's
the first dragon fight.
There we go. I
have zero memory of this.
I have vague memories where, okay, so this is the big thing here is like Lynx goes around the bottom side and is like free firing, and you trade 2 people for like 1 kill and a dragon.
Yep. Correct.
Cool.
Correct. If I could pull up the clip visually, I would. But I think we got to keep on going and trucking.
Keep on trucking.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the next clip that I have in mind, because let's see. This one might be a little more.
No, looking for. He got on his Spyrex. Darkwing.
Oh, Buzz.
Joshi.
This is the top lane fight next to the inhibitor.
No, she took it. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that one. That was only 25 minutes ago.
It was more in recent memory. And yes, this is the fight that AOE Gold defend their base beautifully. Darkwings eliminates Spyrex, Lynx eliminates Masu. Both of the carries are gone, as you call it in Kangas, and then that sends FlyQuest packing, and that begins the snowball for AOE Gold to come back in this game.
It's 2-0.
All right. Last one. I think we only have time for one more, and I think we'll
does he have? He's got to choose. He's
got to choose.
Yeah,
wait.
I wanted to do 2 more, but I think we only have time for one more.
If we only have time for 1, does that mean I already win?
No, because this one's worth double, Joshi. Worth double points.
All right, here we go. Get ready for your buzz. Ready?
Yeah. He's on the Nexus! Buzz! I got it! I got it! Gobs to end the game, baby!
This feels like a gamer moment.
We did it. And
that's a real gamer moment right there.
Here we go, Joshi. This is how much salt you have now that I beat you.
Oh my god.
Or at least tied you. There we go. This is Joshi's salt level.
It's okay. That's okay. Well,
all right,
we'll find a comeback later on. We'll have something in this game. Maybe you'll have to shave your head bald. Oh wait.
Oh,
Rob, I'm gonna request that you head out because I'm about to beat up Joshi live on broadcast here as we get into pick and ban for game number 2. So everyone say goodbye, Rafa. Bye, Mark. Joshi, we got some words. What's going on, man? Why
no hair.
Coming at me? The worst part is there's no comeback for that, other than you've been growing out that same beard for about half a year. Yeah, get him, Rafa! Get him! Defend me! Let's go!
I'm gonna do it again.
That's a
I've gotta do it
bro.
again.
That is a true bro.
That's the kind of things we can do now that we live together.
All right. Well, I guess let's bring our attention in. You can tell that was a long game, so we're a little loopy now. But let's get our attention back in to the final game of the day. AOE versus FlyQuest Challenger on the same sides of the rift now. And let's see if there's any adaptation in the pick and ban for
Lulu's
game
gone.
two.
I'll be straight up, Steve. I don't remember what any of the bans were last time because I was like, oh yeah, those are all standard bans, right? Like these are all things that people have been playing over and over again. But taking the Lulu off the table does probably remove the Sivir from the pool that Masu is likely to actually play this time.
So now that we know that Masu's played on high ping, I'm assuming that AOE has the same information. That does affect the type of champions that you'll probably want to pilot. Things like Lucian, probably going to be much lower priority for a player if you're played on 120 ping. The Sivir makes sense because to an extent, you can just press R, enable your team. Also try and just get as many ricochets in a fight as you can. But I would say maybe something like an Ashe. Maybe even like a Varus, just more facilitating.
You just named two of the most meta characters in the game.
I know, right? It's crazy. Oh, I'm getting audio from Rafa, I think, right now. Somehow in my feed.
Mark.
Wait, is Mark? Are you, Rafa, I think he doesn't have his headset.
He doesn't have his earbuds in.
Rafa's sending us audio. Oh no. Okay, he stopped. He stopped.
Okay.
That was a very confusing part for anybody listening on the broadcast. Sorry. Our ears are just bombarded with audio from Rafa's feed. But we're back. We're live.
We're chill.
Locked in for AOE.
All right. I don't know if the audience could hear that, but, if you did, welcome back. We have a Yuumi first
They were
pick.
probably as confused as we were.
It was a good time, We laughed, they cried, and, it is what it is. But now, okay, we just said that Lucian might not be the character. I was looking at Varus as the most likely one to actually come out, but it is going to be a different style. I like Yuji way more on these bruisers than I do on the tanks historically. It's where they found a lot more of their success historically, and now this is Masu and Keaton saying, hey, it's time to actually go for some fighting.
Yeah, this is not what I expected. By any stretch. This is bold from Masu and Keaton, as they're now up against the scaling again of Lynx and Skytech, the same two champions for all three of these actually, so same three champions for AOE so far. It's kind of a run back right now, but it is, I guess, in a way nice to see FlyQuest trying something different, switching it up. They struggled to close out the game before. This is a much more aggressive composition already that theoretically can actually close out quicker.
Yeah. So we'll see how much the ping actually affects Lucian. There are a couple of things that you can do, but ping generally doesn't affect your ability to do your own combos unless you're also getting packet loss, but it does affect your ability to react to things, right? It's a lot harder to dodge out on Vi's Q on 100 ping than it would be on 10, and that's going to be where we're really looking for the different opportunities for AoE to try and punish the fact that Masu is not playing from Los Angeles.
Just one of those early season tests. How well does Masu look, given the circumstances that they're under? But also, how well can the rest of the team around him perform? Because it isn't just about the bot lane. We talked about going into it. I know it's like over an hour ago now, but the top half of the map for FlyQuest Challengers are sticking together from what was Academy last year. They have Philip, Yuji, and Spyrex coming back. They loved playing with each other before. They wanted to play with each other again. And I'm actually looking more at these three players to be the carries, not the substitute support coming in with a 80 carry who's playing with not ideal ping.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where I really hope that they can kind of step up, and giving Spyrex something like the Silas would be a great character that he has played quite a bit over his career. But we kind of go back to the issue that we were talking about at the beginning. I don't know Keaton or Masu's personalities as well, but Philip, Yuji, and Spyrex are all pretty quiet guys, right? You don't necessarily hear them being super loud, and I think that was one of the big reasons why they stumbled in that last game, was they weren't willing to pull the trigger, and they just kind of moved around each other. But they have the synergy that allowed it to look pretty good for the first half of the game.
A big part of that, before we address the champions that were just locked in, is Yuji had Diamond as his support last year, and it was noted multiple times in interviews that Diamond was helping shot call with Yuji to enable Yuji more. Now Yuji has to step more into that role himself. But let's catch up here. We have the Silas locked in for FlyQuest Challengers up against the Cassiopeia and the Blind Renekton for AoE.
Yeah, this Cassiopeia is quite good into the Silas, right? Because you can just pump damage into him early on, as just being a ranged character versus a melee. And then Gamsu going on a Renekton, we saw a clip from him at the beginning of the series of him staying alive in situations where it really feels like he's not supposed to. And we'll see what Philip actually wants to bring to the table. Why bring a Renekton when you can bring a Lamppost? Going to be bringing the Jax to the table as well. This is going to be Philip really committing to the kind of split push style that we saw him try and go for in game 1. But now he needs to take more control because Camille is not quite as all in. Camille can leave fights a lot of the time. Jax can't.
Yeah, Jax arguably, stronger in the current meta with how Jax have been performing globally at the professional level as well as even in solo queue high elo. Definitely a threat. And I like Philip on the carries. We did highlight that he's more of that carry-leaning style play rather than the weak side tank play. If you go something like a Jax, Wukong, even the Silas to roam up top, this could be their same focus, where, yeah, they have the Lucian Nami, which is strong in the bot lane, but they're also trying to enable Philip and Spyrax more to carry early as well, kind of step up and be those leaders in the game.
Yeah, and I always like to call these kind of compositions threat overloads, right? You protect the AD carry by not protecting them and threatening to kill the other AD carrier. You create so many threats that it is not really possible for the other team to turn around and try and hit the Lucian. So we'll see if Masu can benefit from that as we load onto the Rift for the last time of the day. Whoa, zoom!
Oh, hey, they got there very quick.
Wow.
I believe we're catching up to live with that moment, but FlyQuest with a sneaky little invade right there. Spyrax jumping over the Dragon Pit wall. Not spotted, I don't believe, but doesn't actually catch any members of AoE either.
A very defensive 5-point actually coming out from AoE thus far, meaning that they don't necessarily know about the vision that is going down, but it kind of makes sense. They don't have the strongest level 1 to actually play with. And Link's checking out the bush, making sure that there is nobody there. So, going into this, one of the things that we are going to, again, have to identify is places where FlyQuest can probably be more aggressive and more willing to make plans, because that is, I think, going to be the biggest challenge for this roster the entire time. And Soul Strikes is a coach that is very good at helping them make plans.
Aggressive. 2v2 right now, Lynx. We saw this happen earlier today where the Yuumi just uses a bunch of auto attacks to try and trade.
Yeah.
And also when AoE Esports Lux invite twice in a row, but neither of them are for Skytech. Speedy Grapes is sad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Skytech, who did play support Vi at one point in Academy.
Oh yeah, multiple times, right? Alongside Cowrie, a fair amount last year. Unfortunately, wasn't the most successful pairing in the world, and now Skytech finds himself back in the Challengers League on a different roster entirely. Skytech taking a lot of damage with it. Focus is changing.
All about aggressive trading, though. Link's also taking a lot of damage. Cleanse from Asu to get rid of the exhaust. Link's flashes. Skytech does not have flash, and that is first blood to Ketong.
That's a disaster coming through for Lynx and Skytech, right? They were doing such a good job with their positioning and their fighting in game 1, but even in other matchups, in stronger differences between the bottom lane, we haven't seen this Lucian Nami find these huge advantages right off the bat. Forcing Skytech and Lynx back to base right away is going to give FlyQuest a huge experience advantage, which is even more important than the actual goal that they're getting. Now they can control Yuumi and Zeri's ability to farm and really snowball this advantage.
Really
wow,
cool
that's
observant
wild.
work right there. Beautiful stuff. As we saw all the damage go down, Yuumi, get back in your book. And all summoner spells down for Lynx and Skytech. Yuji hanging around here, seeing if Darkwing's positions on the wrong side. Darkwing's actually positioning on the bottom side of lane, despite the fact that Winnie is in the top jungle. So Yuji might think that Winnie's not around here.
Yeah. Yuji, looking at the Raptors, sees... Oh, that's his own pet. Never mind. Looking around, here comes Philip.
Walking around Winnie's jungle. Walking fast.
Faces
Pushing
past.
past.
And we're frog bound.
Yuji gets it. Here we go.
Let's go. Finding a camp. But that is a big commitment of time. That's a big...
somebody had to finish it. Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the game. Big commitment of time from Yuji, right? Yuji is always been at his best when he is able to make these plays on their own, but still doesn't have, the crowd control to make these ganks happen, is still reliant on the rest of the team to actually set them up. And now, he still has a bunch of camps to farm. He's going to be behind Winnie in terms of actually getting to them.
Winnie's getting to the bottom scuttle first, and Spyrex and Yuji are here. Oh, did Yuji just take it? He did!
He did, okay.
Oh, first the romp, now the scuttle crab. Man, it's just rude.
Spyrex going back into the lane, and Winnie going to be following them right away, looking for some vision. Spyrex is pretty far forward, and they know Yuji's farming.
Winnie used the Vault Breaker earlier, so he's got to wait for it to come off cooldown. Waiting. Does he want to commit? I don't know if it's going to be a kill. I think it would be at best flash out of Spyrex.
Yeah.
Darkwings is positioning very forward.
Oh,
now,
just kidding.
Okay, Spyrex goes in aggressively and now has to get out of the situation and actually does so just fine. Doesn't even sweat it.
Yeah.
Easy, barely an inconvenience.
I love the fact that they went towards the bottom side river, but now we'll see if Winnie can actually screen out Spyrex and get a lot of these minions to die to the turret out of experience range. Winnie going to let them go back into the lane, but we are seeing Darkwing's doing a good job actually controlling this lane, getting a decent CS lead right off the bat, exactly like they are supposed to.
That's pretty sizable. I mean, you're up 10 CS right now. Teleport back into lane. Tier was already stacking that whole time, but you even have a Doran's Ring on top of it. So you are going to be fine for mana for all of the rest of laning phase. Surprised he didn't actually go for more right there. A lot of damage onto Spyrex, but we'll just catch the wave.
Yeah. Darkwings, again, one of these players that we have been really impressed by their growth over time, right? Just seeing all the different things where they first came in, they were kind of, they played kind of like a scared kid. But as they start building more confidence throughout the course of spring, we got to see Darkwings really become a big force for Dignitas Academy last year, where they just had so much control and they were willing to step up in a lot of these fights. And now we're seeing them go up against Spyrex, who's a bit of a problem for them historically, and beating them.
And that's part of why we were all rooting for Darkwings on the comeback. Understandable that he was replaced with Insanity, but now Philip in a rough position. Gamsu chasing him down, gets it. Hits level 6, has the dominance, might just take down Yuji, doesn't quite, but bought time for Winnie, who cannot chase down the Wukong. No flash available, a level down, so and is FlyQuest trading up.
Yeah, that's another situation. Remember when we saw that earlier with Jenkins going up against Lunacia? Here, Philip gets caught off guard by Gamsu hitting level 6 and instantly throwing down the ultimate. Philip ends up paying for it yet again, but luckily Yuji was there to actually clean it up, and now Yuji walking away is accelerated to start the game off and could potentially look for a fight again. But here, watch this. You see that Philip is going in for this fight, and then as Philip jumps in, Gamsu levels up and it's like, uh-oh, as a top laner, there's very few things that feel worse than that.
Oh, such a beautiful play from Gamsu. Pretty much baited him in. And then he slices forward, spins around to clear out all the ranged minions so that he hits level 6. And then buys time for Winnie to come in. If the damage had gone onto the right clone, or rather just not the clone and onto the actual Wukong, Winnie maybe commits for a little bit more there, but either way, still cool that Gamsu was able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely part of those things where it's like a split reaction coming up from Yuji, right? Just using it at the right time, because you have to predict it, right? Gamsu could have, in theory, waited, but that becomes very dangerous because you could just get blown up in the meantime. So that's one of the cool things that we do like to see, and now Winnie trying to help out Gamsu.
Gamsu lands a stun onto Philip.
Oh, level 6. Oh, he walked around for the experience.
Yeah. Oh, but Gamsu just dies anyway. Philip with the 1v1. Yeah, when he cleans it up, but it's dealt right on back.
Yeah. I mean, to their credit, Winnie played that great. Gamsu was a little bit too aggressive, but look at the difference in the bottom lane compared to what we saw in Game 1. Mazu and Gitang in total control, threatening to pick up their second plate of the game already in the bottom lane. But wow, this top lane has become super volatile all of a sudden. I would love to take a look back at that one. And yeah, look at that. Winnie coming right around in order to get level 6. Like, hey, I'm like a minion or two away, and then comes through. But it's Gamsu just coming too far forward, right? Philip was probably going to stay regardless, and Winnie could have cleaned that up without Gamsu dying.
Especially with Winnie having ultimate, even if Philip saw Winnie coming, probably was going to die. You don't have flash. You're not really getting out of that situation. But it's kind of like both of these top laners limit testing in a way. Philip was the first one to overstep. Gamsu is level 6 and outplays him. This time, Gamsu outplays himself and Philip punishes him for it. So there you go. Dragon started up though by AOE. Winnie is on it and unspotted. Traded as UG is on the Herald.
Yeah. And again, I've been rather impressed by Winnie, right? Is definitely a player alongside like Fnatic that has been in the semi-pro ecosystem for a long enough time that I'm surprised that people haven't really tried them out in the previous academy or the Challengers League until very recently. Winnie is a player who has been a strong leader for basically every team that they've been on, and even this game you can see that they are kind of leading the charge, picking up the first objective of the game, looking for opportunities to come just get that little bit of experience. There's not a lot of challenger junglers that would have done what Winnie did, where he just sat around the corner to get experience.
See if Winnie's able to continue that performance going forward. Both these junglers actually having good starts in this game number 2, as both a kill in their pocket, have an objective secured, and are dead even in their current clear. Winnie just a little bit accelerated also on the map earlier than UG, who getting towards that Divine Sunderer shortly.
As they move over to the opposite sides of the map, this is another opportunity for a cross map as well. We haven't seen quite the same level of like mastery of understanding where your opponents are going to be this series like we saw yesterday when Shaden showed a masterclass of shutting down his opponent in their first game, but still,
Lynx pops the ultimate, bubble misses from Ketong, but Lynx can't get in, so that's just ult down. That's a pretty long cooldown as Yuji's around here.
Here comes Spyrex too.
This is going to be a dive. Lynx has to clear out this wave quickly, and actually will do so. I mean, dive called off. They have another wave coming in.
Yeah.
Yuji's waiting. They want
Darkwing
this.
Duck has his teleport if they want.
All right, they just say we'll drop the Herald instead. We'll just guarantee the first turret. Give the gold over to the Lucian. Asu given the keys to succeed in game 2.
Got a very unimportant question for you, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you know what Darkwing Duck is?
Darkwing Duck? I have zero idea.
Man, I shouldn't have asked the homeschooled kid. Ugh.
You know what?
Anyway.
You didn't have to put me on blast in front of all Twitch.
It is, but here's Winnie top lane. He has his ult.
Right.
This is
Philip
diveable.
Also ulting right now. Winnie says, I'll tank the turret first. Maybe give Gamsu the kill. Oh, no!
Yo, Philip, once again finding the outplay in the lane. Philip really showing up. Despite the amount of attention that Winnie has put towards his top side, it is still not enough. Philip is coming out ahead in all of these interactions. Even though the deaths are equal, Philip consistently trading, and you get more experience for solo kills than you do for having an assist.
How many times is Gamsu going to outplay himself? Actually, you know what? This time I'll say Philip outplayed. I think actually you give credit to Philip.
Yeah, I think we can give credit to Philip here. Right? I mean, that was a really good timing on the ultimate from Winnie to stop the leap strike, because if the leap strike comes through, then that definitely would have been Gamsu outplaying themselves. But AOE, I like the aggressive pressure coming out from Winnie, but we just need to see a little bit more consistency, as now we're looking at a potential 3v3, but leads the Skyticker here.
No ult for Winnie. Has the AD carry and support to back him up. UG doing a lot of damage right now. Winnie trying to get onto Ketong, does do so. But Masu given a lot of space to work with right now, but he's losing his health bar rapidly. Lynx out DPSing, but no! Masu with the final autos will take down his AD carry opponent. UG survived the whole time, but Darkwings does have enough DPS to pick up the double kill. A bloody scrap in the top river.
A 3-for-1 going in favor of Area of Effect. Gold yet again keeping this game well within what they are trying to find. And now Masu looking at Winnie.
Ooh, Winnie.
Ooh, aha.
That's pretty heads up actually to not die there. I mean, I thought for sure that would have been a kill, but he gets away.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff. I've been very impressed so far with the way that Winnie and Darkwings are kind of working together and moving as a unit. And as they come through, it is worth noting that it takes a while for Spyrex to join, and Spyrex just doesn't use the ultimate in this fight effectively, and so it means that Lynx once again can just really choose the target that they want to go for, finds Ketong before trying to chase down Masu. This doesn't do as much damage at this point in the game because it is still a Zeri without completed items, and Masu with a great flash dodge, potentially the killing auto.
Yeah, Spyrax also not necessarily getting much done in that fight. He did some damage, but didn't feel the most impactful when you look at what Lynx was able to do, what Darkwings was able to do in the DPS department. And Darkwings now very far ahead of Spyrax. It was already there from the CS differential, but now the kills picked up too. That's 14,000 in the lead.
Yeah, Cassiopeia.
1,400.
Oh, true. 14,000, yeah.
That would be a little crazy.
Homeschooled. This is definitely a situation where we should be expecting a lot more of this Cassiopeia to start coming through in this meta, just because teams are picking such low-range compositions. That's where Cassiopeia can really thrive, and Darkwings is one of the best Cassiopeias we have in the space in terms of the Challengers League, and so I can't wait to see how Darkwings actually pilots some of the upcoming games. So here we go, Lynx and Skytech under pressure.
Yuji's here. Winnie doesn't see Yuji. Yuji sees Winnie, but Winnie still gets in there anyway. Keydog's down, Masu's down. And FlyQuest, even though they were the ones prepping the dive, they get punished for it. Winnie might fall here. Spyrax can't even get in. He sold Lynx's ultimate, and Winnie limps away with a sliver of a health bar.
I have never seen, Steve, a more perfect representation of AOE being willing to pull the trigger and their opponents not. You saw Yuji and Spyrax getting ready for the fight, but they didn't go. But you know who did? Winnie did. Winnie's here on the side. He throws out the ultimate. He locks them down. And FlyQuest, despite having a small lead earlier in Philip, really taking the top lane and turning a 1v2 into what feels like a even to winning situation. Now AOE find themselves yet again in the lead.
There's 4 members of FlyQuest surrounding Lynx, but it doesn't matter because AOE commit to the play quicker and they commit harder.
To the bit.
Yep. They commit to the bit, baby. And FlyQuest, they hesitated just a little bit and they get hard punished for it. Now Lynx 2-1-2 on the Zeri, as well as Darkwings 2-0-1 on the Cassiopeia. Like the carries are fed. They are in this game and they are ready to carry.
It's looking really good, right? The people that we've been pumping up with Winnie, Darkwings, and Lynx playing so well. They have 7 of their team's 8 kills all coming together right at the same time. And now they're again threatening to take this fight on the top side of the map. Are they better? Are they actually going to win this fight? It's hard to say, but they are willing to take it, whereas FlyQuest is just giving them ground.
FlyQuest trying to reposition, regroup. They're in a 4v5 right now. They have Spyrax in the bottom lane. I think that they're pinging down there saying, all right, just let Spyrax try and push a wave in, maybe get a turret on his own, as it seems no one from AOE is answering yet. Darkwings is now heading down that direction. So the Herald is picked up uncontested for AOE.
Yeah. I'm very quickly going back to a very similar kind of win condition for FlyQuest Challengers that we saw in our previous game, which is Philip doing a good job split pushing, but Philip wasn't... Where'd he go?
Oh!
There he is.
That bamboozled me.
Yeah, it's like peekaboo. Okay, pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
We've seen this before. Scared.
So the thing that I'm watching about this, right, is... On the one hand, I would love them to pull the trigger. It is a little bit risky, but the amount of time they're spending out of lanes, not farming, gaining experience, is not only, you know, a bit of a lack of optimization, it's hurting them. Like, long term, not pulling the trigger and not trying to take that 60-40 is meaning that it's so much harder to improve and find these wins. And now, look at that, look at that!
Literally just flash ults directly onto Masu, who is all alone. Winnie in the debut of the Challengers League. Their first games absolutely popping off in the jungle. Probably the most decisive jungling that we've seen yet this weekend.
I don't know. We saw some shade and really decisive jungling, but Winnie's doing a good job, giving him a run for his money. AOE, I mean, I'm really liking what we're seeing so far. It feels like, again, they built a composition not to get relegated. They shouldn't really lose to basically any other. Maybe Cincinnati Fear is going to be the other big team that will have an opportunity, but they are taking this Challengers team and really beating them up.
Ooh, Gamsu could be in some trouble right now. Yuji flashing forward to get the second knock up, and that's the damage. That's the kill.
Yeah, and now Philip with some alone time and this turret. should be able to take that up, and Philip will suddenly become another, I guess, again, redoubling down with the ability to actually try and build up towards actually winning this game. But I am hoping, real quick, for our producers, if we could get the game or the objective timers up, that would be helpful with the upcoming dragon as well.
True.
Winnie?
Being able to know when that dragon's coming up means that we know when they need to set up. When he's spotted out here, but still very far forward.
I guarantee if the teams were reversed and it was Winnie playing that Wukong, they would have gone. I guarantee it, right? That's actually the difference between the teams right now. And now Spyrex is trying to find something. I feel like Spyrex has been a little frustrated with the lack of things that they're doing. And Spyrex, now that the ult is gone, they can't find this play actually going through.
Teleport early from Gamsu. That dragon spawned already, and they want to secure it. Could be a 5v5 fight right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, Philip going for
Philip.
the deep flank right now.
Pulling a Jenkins.
Pulling a Jenkins. And now Gamsu in the brush. Spotted
The
out,
trigger.
going forward. Masu's got to do a lot of damage right here, but oh, Keithon just exploded at the beginning of the fight. Spyrex trying his best to survive. And unfortunately, Philip, yeah, you got that nice flank, but again, everyone from AOE says, well, we see the Jax over there, so let's all of us commit to the other side. Is when he's still jumping in. It's a 5v4 now.
Yeah.
Gamsu trying to bait them in. Philip looking for it, but does not commit to the trigger.
Yeah. Now, FlyQuest, they are looking at the Baron, but there's no way that you can do this in time. And AOE, there's leaving Darklings to actually do this, does have the teleport, and they just need to get a little bit of vision.
Yeah.
Now they see Masu, and they know that there's no real threat.
Cassiopeia, one of the best champions to solo an objective. The damage over time from your poison is pretty insane. As the Herald is dropped, the charge will crash in the mid lane, but Philip has a really good flank here. Can you get onto Winnie? No, they're out of there. FlyQuest, they don't even find the kills. Darkwings, can he get this with the help of Lynx? Oh, Yuji gets there just in time. And what does a jungler have for a summoner spell that nobody else does? That's a smite steal.
That smite coming through with no jungler over on the side. A small blemish on the way that AOE have played this game, not being able to do anything there. But now, FlyQuest, this is it. They're pulling a trigger. They're going to be going for the Baron. I actually think that AOE can look to fight this. Lynx is really difficult for them to get to.
Lynx doesn't have ultimate, though. So there is a short window here where FlyQuest, they might actually be able to burst this down. Winnie's looking for the steal. Can Winnie do this? The jungler who's looked so good on AoE so far, he's into the pit. Maybe a little early, but they got Keitong yet again, and Winnie's still alive. Gamsu's still alive. Yuji secures the Baron, but can FlyQuest get out of the pit? Lynx is doing so much damage. Yuji falls down. Spyrex and Masu, the members to survive. But for how long? Colleen comes out to ensure their escape, and AoE do not prevent the Baron. It's on to two members.
And now Lynx is messing around with both Spyrex and Masu, trying to keep them away. Will pick up the red buff, but look, again, yes, FlyQuest is able to pick up the Baron. They're able to slow down the bleeding, but they're the ones that are getting threatened to be outscaled by the Cassiopeia and the Zeri. Philip, the only one who will really be able to match all of that scaling in a direct fashion. But I'm happy. I'm so happy, Steve. FlyQuest pulled the trigger on something.
They committed.
They committed.
It's a 5v4 when he gets in the pit, but he didn't have vision, I don't believe, unless Gamsu. Maybe the call was not Baron steal. It was, let's actually try and blow them up and get some damage. The fact that Philip flashes away is pretty big. They do a decent job of kind of juggling around here. They bait Winnie even further in, and Winnie was so close to getting that steal.
Yeah.
Just not quite.
The way that Lynx is just like peppering so much damage across that fight really allowed this to be a huge win coming out for AoE in terms of the actual fight itself. But now FlyQuest still within a couple thousand gold. They still can try and make something happen, but again, as the game goes later and later, the problem that FlyQuest have been facing this game, I don't know how they consistently fix it, especially over the course of a single game. That's something where you go back, and we will never be able to hear the comms, I'm expecting, but the coaches should be able to help out, take a look at what they're actually trying to do, and see who they can get to be a little bit more vocal in order to make these plans.
The Baron's a start for FlyQuest, but they'll need to find something a little more tangible to get them back fully into this game. They haven't lost it, you know, it's only a 1,000 gold deficit. Down one dragon. But can FlyQuest reverse their fortunes and pick up their first win of the split against AOE? Never a fun time to start 0-2, but AOE, I mean, for a provisional team, the one that we said was built to not be relegated, the amount of experience on this roster cannot be understated. Looking very good in their debut.
For sure. And now we are going to have to look for when the next dragons are actually going to be popping up, when they can actually try and force some of these fights, because they're not super worried about this game going, you know, fairly long, especially with the way that Lynx has been playing this far. Ooh,
Ooh! Ooh! Oh,
nice!
Masu! Nicely done for the player with 120 ping. That did not look bad.
That was pretty good. Moving through and reacting to the way that Lynx was moving, getting the flash out of him as well. Now they're looking for Philip.
And Philip is in trouble. Locks down. There you go. Right as we say it, Winnie finds a play of his own.
Mid lane turret ends up going down. But what's going on down with Darkwings? He's trying to chase Spyrax.
And he is winning this so far. As a Conqueror, there's no way Spyrax can take this 1v1 with the item differential.
Absolutely not. I mean, I love the way that Darkwings is also using the miasma to just zone out their opponents, but now we see the little hourglass on the dragon. That means there's less than a minute before it spawns, and taking a quick look at the items, you're seeing that almost everybody on AoE is on 2 items, whereas we're still waiting for a couple items to come through for FlyQuest, right? And the big one is Spyrax. Down 60 CS, 0, 1, and 2. Doesn't yet have the Zonias completed. That's a big playmaking tool that they will need in order to try and take this upcoming fight.
See positioning for FlyQuest early around the dragon. Controlling the vision. Deep invade from Yuji. Sees that Winnie is there. Nobody from AoE knows that Yuji is here, though. But Winnie's just going mid instead. Like, they're just committing on Masu anywhere he is. You look at the map, and half the time it's Yuji waiting for something, sitting in a brush, like, okay, what's going to happen? And then you look at Winnie, and he's like, nah, I'm just going to run right in there. I'm just going for it. Like, who needs to check anything?
Yeah, but Spyrax does have the Zonias and has a flank.
Oh, he's been spotted, though.
Oh!
Have a ward on him. He fails the flash of the wall. Now the miasma locking him down. Has the stopwatch. Spyrax buying time for the team to follow up. Flashes now, but he is down as FlyQuest lose a member. Can they turn their fortunes around? They take down Darkwings, a 1-for-1 trade. Masu with the positioning. The double kill for Masu. Beautifully piloted on the Lucian. Yuji even gets one as well. FlyQuest coming back, roaring to life in this series, but Masu, okay, that was a little ambitious. It's still very strong. So right at the end, fails slightly. Wait, oh,
still
there's
though.
no way Winnie steals this.
Oh, doesn't even
Doesn't
have smite.
have but he has Skytech on him.
I mean, Skytech doesn't do 1,000 damage.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is here, Winnie. I guess maybe he looks for a kill. Okay, Philip spots him, and he's gone.
I mean, 7-1 and 7 though. We haven't even touched on that, but we finally see FlyQuest. It's not that they pulled the trigger so much, but AoE was too aggressive. Very convinced that they were going to be better in that fight, and they got turned on. You can't disrespect these FlyQuest players in terms of their play, right? They've still been playing quite well. Philip has been playing well basically this entire game, and Masu, fantastic pilot of the Lucian in this fight, right? But the thing that we watch here is as Darkwings goes over the wall, Masu is just getting free DPS here, and then as Darkwings starts to clean up Keaton, Masu just needs to navigate between all these different threats, gets the damage onto Darkwings first before dodging away from Gamsu and turning around to kill Lynx, who also flashed over the wall.
Even gets the cleanse in there too. Really good reaction time from Masu. And then this was a little ambitious. But you know, we don't need to finish watching that part of the replay. It was great up until that point. So Winnie, though, you said it, 7-1 and 7. A reminder, technically not his first time on the academy level as he jumps in onto Yuji. A lot of damage
and
down with Skytech in his pocket. He just commits in onto the Wukong. Cyclone out, Winnie takes a lot of damage from the Colleen right there as Darkwings teleports in looking for the fight. Yeah, we have to back up, but they have chunked down Yuji quite heavily. Maybe they look for the Baron as Spyrax takes away the Zeri ultimate. Not sure if that's the one that they were looking for. That's Darkwings ult down. Petrifying Gaze off the table. They keep track of these. These are high impact ults being thrown at each other.
I mean, that's the AoE way. We've already seen that they have 0 ults left. The only ult left in the game is Philip, so now they're going to be starting up the Baron. AOE, they don't have a lot of their go buttons. How are they actually going to be able to take this?
Aaron's getting very low right now. Darkwing's approaching. Winnie wants to get in there. He has the smite this time around. He has the ultimate, but he's stunned. Yuji secures the objective. Winnie has to get away now. Spyrex is in. Phillips is in. They're onto the back line.
Watch Lynx. Watch Lynx.
Reposition.
Watch Lynx.
The Zeri can absolutely pop off in this fight. Philip will trade one back onto Winnie. Jumps out of the pit as well. FlyQuest. So many members are getting away. Oh, the backs are completing. Lynx was set up to carry that fight. Can't quite follow through. Gamsu will get one onto Ketong. Philip teleports back in.
Looking for Lynx. This is going to be tough, but he gets so close.
Yuji's nearby.
They're waiting for Yuji.
Lynx has no idea. He's got flash, he's got barrier. That's a lot of damage though. The CC chain. Lynx is out of there. That's both summoner spells down. Even heal from Skytag.
Still though, getting all of that through it. Wait, Gamsu. Masu? Got Masu?
He's definitely down. Yeah. Oh, right. A weird end to the play. Multiple members sticking around on the map for longer than they should have.
Yeah. I
But
think we're
it's
seeing,
FlyQuest to get the Baron. I mean, this is huge for them.
I think we're seeing that when FlyQuest actually pull the trigger, like they can actually do what they're supposed to, right? Nobody has said that Philip, Yuji, Spyrex were weak players. They are very good at actually navigating a lot of these fights, but the big thing that we will need to see them do is continue to do what we just saw them go for. Make these big plays happen. Go for things and force your opponents into these skill checks that you can actually go for fights. And Masu, night and day from what we saw in Game 1, right? Not really able to do anything. Playing a character like Sivir on the high ping, it's very difficult to actually get your spacing down, but now you just throw out your ultimate, you try and blow somebody up, and with the dashes is much better equipped to try and deal with the dive coming through from Winnie and Gamsu.
Spyrex again fishing for FlyQuest. They're not just hard forcing many plays, but they're always fishing. They're sharks in deep water. And AOE are the bait right now. Just got to survive this Baron push. If they can, Lynx still has the ability to carry, but without summoner spells, it will be much harder for Lynx to position in these fights. And isn't even at 3 items yet. Wow, that's kind of surprising to see. I definitely expected Lynx to be further along the Zeri build path. Okay, there we go. 3rd item picked up finally.
Sure, I mean, coming through, but it's still... Oh, there's the set. Full send.
Okay. Winnie again in here, locking down Masu, and there we go! Masu again, aggressively jumping forward and hard punished for it.
I mean, that, again, that's something we can't say anything about the ping, right? That doesn't affect the decision-making there, and AoE's like, oh, you can't do that! They instantly jump in and make sure it doesn't happen, and unfortunately, Masu dying at one of the worst times. AoE will have total control of the area around this upcoming dragon, and 2-2, that does mean that both teams are really starting to value this in order to have an opportunity to even play for the soul.
Yoshi, I don't want to curse this by any stretch, but I remember what happened last time. The dragon count was 2-2 between these two teams.
That was an hour ago.
Yeah. Magical with the accurate tweet and perfectly timed for where the conversation was in this moment. Strapped in, everybody. I think it's going to be another long one.
Yeah, but there we go. We do see it coming down, and again, if you want to be in the conversation, hashtag NACL on Twitter, throw it out. We've gotten a lot of grapes, we've gotten a couple magical. This is your opportunity to get back in there. And if you just, we don't have the ability to put on pictures yet, but that will be coming. Send us some fun things. Maybe more of the dog in them.
Yeah, just a little bit. I want to bring the conversation back to something that I was talking about earlier, but then a lot of action happened. Hopefully I can get through it this time, because it looks like action might happen again. Never mind. Gamsu's walking right into multiple members of FlyQuest, and he's not quite tanky enough to survive that. Dog's picking up the kill.
That's a lot of people coming through all at once. FlyQuest, we thought that it was going to be more about the ability to play around the dragon, but they are taking control of this top side of the map. And now, Masu, again, on 4 completed items, also has a serrated Dirk to turn into Collector if they want or sell. They just have so much damage every time someone walks into them, and just like we were talking about before with some other Lucian build, now you can actually chew through all this front line and also through Lynx.
That was half of Lynx's health bar right there, and I think even through the Yuumi heal, the actual summoner spell heal used now just so Lynx can stick around in the fight rather than having to back because they want to go forward. They're right on the Ketong. Winnie is all alone, but tanky enough to survive, gets out of there, but now Philip jumps in, lands the stun, everyone follows up. Winnie's not dying! What? Darkwing somehow got on the backline and is outputting insane damage. It's up to Lynx now, though.
Here
Maybe
comes
Gamsu can carry as well. Philip jumps in. Spyrex misses the stun onto Lynx. Goes golden, trying to stay alive. Gamsu on the front line. Yuji jumps onto Lynx. Yuji's onto Winnie. Yuji's onto everybody! With a triple kill for FlyQuest. And that should be enough to close out the grueling series. 84 minutes in total between the two games, but FlyQuest will pick up their first win of the Spring Series Challenger Split.
Great stuff coming through from FlyQuest. It looked like a full send from AOE, but FlyQuest standing tall when they actually are ready to take these fights. They can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league. Oof. I'm so happy this actually went to a 1-1 because we got to see some of the things that are so good about AOE, and we got to see some of the things that are also really good about FlyQuest. And if AOE can take down this team from the challenger side of the league, it is absolutely going to be giving them a little bit more momentum going through into the rest of the season.
It felt like FlyQuest played a much more patient game, save Masu, who sometimes would get very aggressive and dive very deep into enemy territory. But in general, FlyQuest challengers were playing a much more patient game, letting AoE walk into them and then trying to punish, whereas AoE were playing into that game. Winnie was going deep on those plays, especially that last fight right there, where he is able to get onto Ketong, survives pretty much the whole time, and then Darkwings is up there by himself trying to drain take on the Cassiopeia as much as he's able to. What a weird way to end the series, but a fun story overall to see such different styles and different confidence levels between the two teams.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of learning moments for both teams between these two games, and so it's going to be... I'd be curious to hear what they actually want to talk about in their VOD reviews. Unfortunately, we will not have direct access to that, but we just get to watch the tape. And with 6 games today, I mean, these last 2 ones were some of the most grueling. For some of the young players, it's not nearly as surprising that it is really difficult to play these stage games for such a long period of time, especially if you end up losing them.
But hey, at the end of the day, both were able to pick up a win in their first stage games for the Spring Split. Pretty cool story for both of them. Something that I was trying to say throughout the game, but it actually kept happening, so I'll take the moment now to kind of close this out here. Winston had an incredible performance. Winnie had an incredible performance. Was Winston. Last time we saw him at the Academy level, did actually play for TSM Academy for a short stint there. So this is now technically his return to this level of play after jumping around between amateur teams, collegiate teams. And what a showing. We have a lot of cool names coming in this year and a lot of fun narratives and storylines to follow. And I just can't wait to see what the following weeks have in store. We even have more tomorrow. Like, this is the last game of today, but we do have the 3-day blocks as our general schedule. So with that, though, we're going to send it to a short break because we do have to get ready for an interview with the winning team that will be coming right after this with our very own Rafa before we close out the show. So don't go anywhere. Right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Spyrex here on the interview side of things after that hell of a series between both FlyQuest and AOE Gold. Spyrex, I know you were definitely feeling a little conflicted about your own performance. Take the time to open up. What was it like in that last game?
Bit of a depressing performance from my end, especially since I feel like I've been doing fine in scrims, and right now I kind of have to be more of a leader, and I definitely didn't show up today, so kind of feels bad. But I'm glad we got a win at least, especially considering that our ADC is playing on 100 ping, so it's pretty hard for him. And shout out to Masu for that.
Shout out to Masu to persisting and pulling through. And sometimes there's going to be days like this, right? The games are tougher and they don't put up the results that you guys have been seeing in scrims. But you know what? It's your first series of the entire split. You still got, I want to say, 14 more series to go for the remainder of the regular season before you head into playoffs. But let's backtrack a bit. Let's take a look at 2022 FlyQuest. Pretty much the same roster, but you guys had Tomo and Diamond. And I know, as you said yourself, you're trying to step up, being more of a leader. How does that feel without Diamond this time in your roster?
It's definitely hard, especially at first, like our first scrims, because our bot lane did a lot of the shot calling for us, and now we kind of have to do their job. But so far, I would say it's going great, and especially Yuji and Philip, they're stepping up as well with the comms. So, and as well as our bot lane, like they're not like they also like make plans and shit. So that's pretty good.
Okay. If you don't mind just elaborating, like what are some of the things that you're trying to delegate as responsibilities? Is there like certain game states or timers that like certain members of your team will specifically touch on, or is it kind of just we're feeding information throughout the game as we go?
Yeah, more so getting used to like feeding information. Like for everyone's we all try to like call our conditions, and for me personally, I try to focus more on like side lane in the mid game. Sure. That kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. And take me through this offseason as well, because most of us had heard that you, Yuji, and Philip were trying to do your best to remain together as like a trio package during the offseason. You know, if you ended up staying on FlyQuest, or if you guys were, taken as interest by another org, why is that?
I mean, we thought me, Yuji, and Philip like made a lot of growth throughout the entirety of last year, and thought that if we were to stay together, like we could show up pretty big and have some good results.
Oh, huge. Okay. Now, a little bit more personal, a couple last questions for you, Spyrax. This is now your full second year of playing in the newly dubbed Challengers League, making your debut on what was the Academy last year. What are some changes that you want to see for yourself going forward now that you're no longer, a first-year rookie, but more as a sophomore?
I'll always try to be better at laning, because that's really important, but also just be a leader in general, and try to like set up my team for success, and utilizing my teammates more often, I would say, are my primary goals.
Solid stuff here. And Spyrax, before I let you go, is there anyone else that you would like to shout out today or give props to before we let you go?
Just shout out to my team and coaching staff. I kind of got carried today, so I just have to thank them.
Well, you know what, Jalal? I think that just means it's on you to pay for the team dinner tonight. So tell us, where are you guys going after for grub?
I don't think we have a team dinner, but we'll see. Maybe. I mean, we have another match tomorrow.
We gotta change that.
We have another match tomorrow, so we'll probably do it after tomorrow's match.
Okay, there you go. All right, clean out the series for all of the week, and then you guys can go and celebrate. All right. Well, definitely let us know where you guys end up going tomorrow. But thank you so much for your time, Jalal. We'll see you next time, man.
Bye-bye.
I think that's appropriate. Wait till the second day of games and then go out for dinner, because otherwise they're going to be too groggy. If they get
that's fair. That's fair.
Some carb heavy tonight, they're going to be tired tomorrow.
Pasta. Pizza and pasta.
But we will be checking. We'll have to follow up tomorrow. If anybody gets to interview FlyQuest.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll follow up on Twitter or something. But that's it. That's the day of games, everybody. An incredible series to close it out on. A banger and a half, to say the least. I know that we sometimes throw that word around too often. I think today we've used it an appropriate amount of times. But let's check out what happened all across the day with the standings update here. A lot of teams playing 2 series already. These 2 teams had only played their first series, and it looks like the other stream is still going, because I see it. FlyQuest. Oh, wait.
We just casted that one. It just didn't.
We just casted that one. Never mind.
Yeah.
So that should be a 1-1 on FlyQuest Challengers. All right. Yeah. Understandable.
A little bit, I guess not super surprising that a couple of our LCS provisional teams have still yet to pick up a win, but it is going to be something where we will really have to pay attention to which teams really climb towards the top. I am not surprised to see CLG Challengers up there and Cloud9 Challengers still both undefeated, but I think it's a big testament that Fear were able to pick up a win over Team Liquid Challengers earlier this week and really cement themselves as a team that can really look to take down a lot of our top dogs.
Every Challenger team picking up at least 1 win. I think that's another big one to note right there, is that none of the Challenger teams are winless on the second day. Pretty impressive already to start things off. Rafa, overall takeaways from the day, though, and even the weekend, too. I know that we were watch partying some of the games yesterday, so if you want to throw in anything that you took away from that, too. Yeah, we had a good time.
I definitely think that numbers don't represent the entire story. And it's sometimes a shame that, you know, when you look at a standings bracket, and if you haven't catched all the games, then you just go, oh, like, you think FlyFam are doing really poorly. It's like, no, if you watch the games, there's great moments to take away from. It just comes down to the last execution to close out the games. And it's, you know, it's been heartbreaking. And I'm positive that, you know, as someone that hasn't seen all the CLG Faith games, those 0-4 games might not just be, oh yeah, they're just getting stomped every single time. No, we have no idea if we haven't seen the game for ourselves. Yeah. So, you know, if you're a fan of the Challengers League, and if you have time, make sure you go back and watch all the VODs.
Also, Joshi, those two teams are playing each other tomorrow. We actually get FlyFam versus CLG Faith on our Monday night games.
That means a lot, especially because we have to remember that these two teams, as two provisional teams, are not just winless. They gotta try and jockey for that positioning for the seeding and for making sure that they don't have to play relegations at the end of the split.
Exactly. For anybody who's maybe not caught up on the new format, the bottom 4 provisional teams out of 6 that are in the league, bottom 4 will face relegations at the end of the season. You have other amateur teams competing in the qualifier circuit, an opportunity to get into the Challengers. But with that said, that's it for the Sunday broadcast, day 2 of week 1 for the Challengers League Spring Split. Thank you so much, Joshi, for coming on and casting with me and bearing with my technical difficulties at the beginning of this last series. Thank you, Rafa, for hopping in and replacing me while I was booting up my PC again, and also for having the great bits. This man sang a song and performed it live for the first time on broadcast.
Let's go.
You even gave me great lyrics to work with, and by great,
yeah, silly.
Silly. Absolutely silly.
Silly, for sure.
Well, Rafa, we'll be cheering you on as well for your first day on LCS this coming week, too. But for anybody who's still following along, make sure to check out all the games tomorrow, because we are a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday broadcast. We will have more Challenger games tomorrow. We'll see you there.